If you are listening to this, you were never meant to be naive. You were meant to notice patterns, and you were meant to feel when something shifts, even if you cannot explain it yet. There is a side of relationships that is rarely spoken about openly, not because it is rare, but because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Power in relationships is not created through physical force. It is created through perception, timing, and emotional positioning, and most people are affected by it long before they are consciously aware of it. Here is an uncomfortable truth. In every relationship, psychological influence already exists. Someone sets the emotional pace, someone reacts more while someone waits, someone explains and tries to resolve tension immediately, and yet someone does not. This is not about men versus women. It is about awareness versus blindness, and awareness always shifts power. With that understanding, let's talk about one of the most quietly powerful dynamics in attraction, the push-pull effect. Not as a game, not as manipulation, but as a psychological rhythm the human nervous system responds to automatically. Attraction does not grow in certainty, it grows in contrast. When everything is emotionally available all the time, the mind relaxes, and when the mind relaxes too much, desire slowly fades. Not because the connection is bad, but because nothing is activating attention anymore. The push-pull effect works because the brain is wired to seek resolution. When something feels good and then slightly pulls away, the mind leans forward. Questions appear, focus sharpens, and emotional energy increases. This does not happen because of manipulation. It happens because uncertainty creates movement. Most women are taught only one side of connection. Be open, be reassuring, be emotionally available, explain your feelings clearly, resolve tension as quickly as possible. And while all of this creates safety, safety alone does not maintain attraction. Desire needs polarity, it needs movement between closeness and distance. The close phase is warmth, presence, responsiveness, and emotional openness. This is where bonding happens and trust is built. But when closeness is constant, when emotional availability has no rhythm, the signal becomes flat. There is no contrast, no tension, and no emotional space for desire to stretch into. The far phase is where most people misunderstand the dynamic. It is not coldness, it is not punishment, it is not disappearing. It is containment. It is the moment you stop leaning forward emotionally. You respond, but you do not rush. You share, but you do not over-explain. You allow space to exist without immediately trying to fill it. Psychologically, something important happens here. His nervous system notices the shift, not consciously, but emotionally. The absence creates a question, the question creates focus, and focus renews interest. This is why attraction often increases when someone stops trying so hard, not because effort is unattractive, but because effort without pause removes polarity. Polarity is created by difference, near and far, present and slightly unavailable. The dark misunderstanding comes when people try to use push, pull to control outcomes. They pull away dramatically, create distance out of fear, and wait for a reaction. That never works for long. Push, pull only works when it is calm, grounded, and unforced. It works when the distance is not strategic, but natural. You are not pulling away to provoke emotion. You're pulling back because you do not need constant emotional validation to feel stable, and that difference is felt immediately. When you stop explaining yourself excessively, you stop teaching someone how to manage you. When you do not rush to resolve every emotional gap, you allow the other person to step forward internally. Relaxed silence can feel magnetic. It is not empty, it is full of presence, and presence creates curiosity. The darker realization here is that attraction is shaped less by what you say, and more by how available your emotional energy is. When emotional availability has boundaries, it gains weight. When it has no boundaries, it becomes background noise. Push, pull is not about creating insecurity. It is about avoiding emotional overexposure. You connect, then you return to yourself. You share, then you live your life. You do not disappear, you do not announce the distance, you simply allow space to breathe. If this feels uncomfortable, it is because many people were taught that love equals constant emotional proximity. But desire does not survive in constant closeness. Desire needs air, and air comes from space. This awareness is not meant to control anyone. It is meant to stop you from unconsciously giving away your leverage. When you understand rhythm, you stop chasing intensity, and intensity starts finding you. Thank you for listening to me. Follow me if you want to hear more. I have many more surprises planned for you in the future.